We're here talking with Steve Sakayama, Air Science Specialist with the BC Ministry of Environment. And we're going to talk air tools and asthma management.
Right. So one of the things that can be prevalent, especially during the summertime here in BC or in other parts of Canada, is there can be a lot of wood smoke in the air due to forest fires. The levels can get quite high, and if you're asthmatic, that can be a concern if you're sensitive to wood smoke from these forest fires. This smoke from forest fires can travel hundreds and thousands of kilometers, really. We've had many cases in British Columbia, for example, where we've had lots of wildfires in the interior of BC, and the smoke traveling right across all the way through to Ontario.
Wow.
And so the smoke from these wildfires can affect the lives of millions of people. In some places, that smoke can reach fairly high concentrations of what we call PM 2.5. These are small little particles that can get in the lungs and either exacerbate respiratory conditions and are associated with cardiorespiratory problems. So there's been work going on for the past 2 years to develop a way to actually forecast the smoke that results from these wildfires. And that's useful to answer questions like, well, I know there's forest fires, I know there's smoke in the area. Is that smoke going to hit my area? Is it going to get worse? How bad is it going to be? And when is that smoke going to clear? So having some sort of forecast that can answer these questions can be quite helpful to a whole bunch of people that have various interests, but also for those especially with the respiratory conditions. There is a tool. It's called the Blue Sky Wildfire Smoke Forecasting System for Western Canada. It's a bit of a mouthful that can actually do this. And it's been under development through a number of different agencies and partners that have come together with this common interest to develop it. What it does is it takes the forecast, just like a normal weather forecast that you get, from the radio or TV or the internet, and it takes that forecast and looks at how it will change. The weather forecast will change every hour for the next 48 hours into the future. It also combines that information with satellite information that are detecting the forest fire locations. The satellites can actually pick up where these forest fires are. And then some estimates can be made based on the type of forest that's burning, the kind of trees and the vegetation, to get some idea of how much smoke in the form of PM 2.5 concentrations are actually being emitted into the air. So it takes that source information and that weather information, combines it together, and to create a smoke forecast.
And how do people find out this information?
Well, that smoke forecast is posted on the web. And this is produced at the University of British Columbia, and then it's sent to the Ministry of Environment website. And that website is at www.bcairquality.ca. And if you go to that main homepage, all sorts of information is there on air quality, as well as what Eric had been mentioning about the Air Quality Health Index and the advisories. That information is posted on our website. But as well, there's a link to the Blue Sky system. And the Blue Sky system is this wildfire smoke forecasting system. Right now it's not working, but it will be in the wildfire season when the actual forest fires to actually do that, so we kind of turn it off right now. When you go to the website and you go on the link to the wildfire smoke forecasting system, the Blue Sky system, you'll see a map. And this map shows you Western Canada, just like that. And it shows you these patterns where the smoke is impacting on this map. And it will also show you the time which that forecast corresponds to. So as you move forward in time, that smoke blob will change and move and cover different areas. We'll also show you the concentrations. Those colors represent higher concentrations of the smoke in the form of PM 2.5. You can also get something, if you like Google Earth, which is kind of the spectacular way to look at everything. These same kind of patterns, these smoke impact areas and the concentrations in a map format that is animated. So every hour in the future you see the smoke moving forward into the future into 2 days ahead. And so here's an image here of a Google Earth image. So for those with, those with asthma or any other respiratory illness, having this prior knowledge of what the smoke might do would be very, very useful in terms of management.
Is there anywhere this information is not available?
In BC, fortunately, for all of Western Canada, this system covers all of Western Canada up to the edge of Ontario. So if you happen to be in that area, you can get this information. It also covers some of the southern parts of the Northwest Territories, Nunavut, and also the Yukon. So if you're traveling far, you can actually look at what the smoke situation would be due to wildfires in those areas. If you're outside of that area, well, we're trying to expand that system, but that's, requires a lot of work, and we hope to be able to provide it to, let's say, all the way to Ontario. So that's a dream right now.
Fortunately, we live here.
That's right. And if you're in a rural area, where there are no measurements, this tool can be very useful if you're in the middle of nowhere kind of thing, because it will produce estimates for any location in BC, as well as Western Canada. The only thing I might say, it is a tool, and the output is considered to be, experimental, because if it's a massive project combining all sorts of information, trying to predict something, that's very hard to predict. But instead of saying, well, we're not going to do that because it's hard, we can say, well, let's try to do it. And we've been finding that the patterns that it produces kind of make sense for what actually occurs. So we got a good sense that we're on the right track. It's giving you the right idea. But any individual situation, it could be quite off, in terms of the level of smoke or even whether the smoke arrives at your location or not.
That's what predictions are, right?
That's right.
Iffy.
Yes.
Anything you want to add?
No, I'm just excited that it's a tool that can be used by a variety of people, even, questions from tourists, like, is it going to be smoky where we're going to be fishing, kind of thing. Well, we can give them some sort of idea based on that. But more importantly, for those with health issues and, respiratory disease, this can be a very useful tool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds like a really good tool.
Yeah.